All right, thank you everybody for joining this call today. Today we are going to be going over networking as a service, or NaaS 101. This is part of the HPE GreenLake for networking offering. What we have today is we have myself and Jeff Sears. We're going to be going through a little bit of the basics to what networking as a service is. And if you're not aware of it, we want to make sure that it is top of mind, as this is a great product for us to be able to push out to our partners. And it's going to be a big part of HPE's initiatives moving forward. So my name is Connor Pierce. I'm a customer experience representative here at Ingram Micro. I am on the HPE networking line, so I work with the Aruba product, but my primary focus is in the HPE GreenLake for networking field. So I find myself working a lot with these NaaS quotes, and really excited to kind of dive in a little bit more and get into the weeds as far as what the product is, and again, why it's a great product to be able to sell to your partners. So on the call with us today, we have Jeff Sears from HPE. He's going to dive into a lot of the product info and be able to talk about the product a lot further. So without further ado, we'll give it over to Jeff to introduce himself, and we'll get right into it.
Well, hey, thanks, Connor. Great to see you this morning, and thank you for the opportunity to be talking to your partners. Ingram is an amazing partner of ours at HPE Arubas, especially around our GreenLake for networking, network as a service. So thank you for the opportunity. So to get started, apologize. All right. So number one, to talk about and to provide an overview around networking as a service, it's not a new product. It's not a technology. It's really just a new way to think about networking. It's a new way to for customers to consume our networking products. And if you think about it, even in our day-to-day lives, it's really we live with subscriptions. We live with consuming products in an as a service, in a monthly type of subscription. So this is really nothing different. So as a partner and as your customers, you're still receiving the Aruba product, the upper right-hand quadrant of Gartner for 19 plus years, over 22 years of innovation. And we're just providing the ability for you and your customers to consume it in this OpEx, in this subscription type of manner. So why it benefits you as a partner, and I think that the benefits are just tremendous. It really helps you differentiate yourselves from other partners. It helps you build out an ARR, annual recurring revenue, MRR, monthly recurring revenue practice, which is definitely going to increase the value of your organization. And what we've seen over the past 4.5 years that we've had this offering is an amazing retention of customers. So I don't know if you're aware of the term LAIR, land, adopt, expand, and renew, but the retention that we see with customers, the times that they, after signing on for this type of subscription, how often they add. We have, Connor and I have customers that have added 6, 7 times. We have another customer that has added on 14 times. So it becomes very easy for our customers to continue to add on to this agreement. Another term that I like to use is stickiness. So you'll see this stickiness that you have with your customers when they're consuming in this way versus your traditional CapEx. And then last but not least, number 4, is that the whole idea, our whole go-to-market is all about our partner community. And we're providing you the foundation that allows you to add your services. to increase that revenue, increase those margins, increase that value to your customer. The other area that I really like to focus on, especially as a 30 plus year seller for technology manufacturers, is this different way to go to market, a different way to position with your customers. And it has to do with outcomes. So, success in business outcomes are what the customer is looking to obtain from this service. So the old way, we of course were out there selling products. Maybe we were selling solutions. But with this new way of consuming in this network as a service, it's all about helping your customers achieve those success and business outcomes. And if that customer may not know what those outcomes are, you as the partner can really elevate yourself as a trusted advisor and help them decide on what those outcomes are or identify what those outcomes are that they're trying to achieve. So again, it's going to really differentiate yourself from other sellers, other manufacturers out there. We're going to help them from a life cycle management, making sure that they're not having any end of sale, end of support type of issues. We're providing them a monthly subscription. So now they're going to know their costs next month, 6 months from now, year from now, 3, 5 years from now. They're going to know exactly what their network infrastructure costs are. So from a definition standpoint, a lot of times this is, some issues out there with folks not understanding what the definition of how we define network as a service. So we're providing, like I mentioned, you, the partner, the foundation. This really, I would define as a hardware as a service. So the hardware, the software, our foundation care. And then you, as our partner, would layer on that day 2, maybe day 0, day 1, but the services to really turn that definition into a network as a service. So again, we're providing you the hardware as a service, the monthly subscription with the hardware, software, foundation care all wrapped in there. We're going to talk a few minutes about CEM. That's the only part that we add into it. But then we're really relying on our partners to add those additional services to really, again, identify this as a network as a service. Doesn't mean you have to. You can still just pass along the hardware as a service to the customer and make the margins, the rebates, and all that without any services. But it's strictly up to you on how much you want to add to that offering. I mentioned CEM. This is our secret sauce. This is our superpower to our NaaS. This is what differentiates us from other vendors out there that are providing NaaS. It's 2 parts. It's the NaaS Experience Platform Portal. This is built on ServiceNow. This provides you visibility to all your Aruba products. This is what helps you with the customer focus on lifecycle management, asset management. It's built on ServiceNow. And then the customer success manager. He or she is tied to you and that customer throughout the length of the agreement. They're going to be they're going to be the advocate for you and that customer for Aruba. They have direct access to our TAC. They have direct access to our PLM. They are part of the process of onboarding you. They get the central licenses set up. They make sure that product is delivered. I had an issue the other day where we had damaged boxes delivered to a customer. They got involved with all the RMAs. So again, another resource that takes some of that mundane type of stuff off of your plates and the customer's plates that you can then focus on more valuable type of activities. They also provide proactive recommendations around configuration and design. So again, we're really focused on you, the partner, and the customer to really get the most value out of this service, and to make sure that you're, utilizing the CX, all the technology that we have built into our products, that you're taking advantage of those. We also, real quick, the proactive recommendations that reminded me. We're trying to shift the whole idea of a reactive way of managing a network to a proactive, making sure that the latest patches, the latest iOSs, all of that are updated. So we're being more proactive around managing our networks versus waiting for tickets, waiting for outages, waiting for customers complaining about, issues on the network. So what we've done is we've put together this offering, this solution that is called Service Packs. And this is a partner-facing offering. And the idea, again, is that we're providing you this lower box here, this orange, and the circles below as the foundation, the hardware as a service. And then we, again, back to I mentioned earlier, we look at you to add that day zero, day one, day two, any other maybe vendor services. But again, we want to provide you that foundation to allow you to add your services on to deliver to that customer. To give you a little bit more detail, a little bit more visibility to the service pack, it's pretty simple. It's a single SKU that incorporates everything that is needed for that service. So we'll give you an example. That upper left-hand green box down below, indoor wireless service pack. So up top there, number one, it would be, say, an AP615, whatever power source, whatever bracket, the universal bracket, the A bracket, the C bracket, whatever bracket is needed. So these are all variable, right? They're all interchangeable, and so you wouldn't have a list price because they could be very different, depending on what's in the SKU. But we again, foundation care, whatever level foundation care that you need here. Could be 4 hour on site. It could be next business day hardware replacement. For APs, it could be warranty. We add in that CEM that I talked about, the customer experience management. That's the customer success manager in the NaaS experience platform. The subscription comes in a 3 and 5 year term. And then the brains to all of this is this central cloud management. And you can do either the foundation, which is the basic, or advanced. So again, all of this is configurable. It's all variable. It's depending on what your customer needs in these service packs. And then below, you'll see all the different service packs that are available today, and that will continue to be built out. So after the Juniper acquisition is closed, you'll start seeing some of those Juniper products down below there. But as you see, wired core, wired aggregation, wired access. So 6000s, 62s, 64s, the 8300s, the 10Ks, all of those products are available in these service packs. So from a value standpoint, as a seller, this is what excites me, is that you're going to get elevated within those customer accounts to the C level when you start talking about OpEx expenditures. So again, you're going to start talking to the CFOs, you're going to start talking to CEOs, because they're going to have to sign off on these type of OpEx type of transactions. What's really cool there, though, is that, again, you're going to differentiate yourselves from other resellers out there. You're going to position yourself at a C-level aspect versus just at the IT, say, director and some of the technical folks. So again, I think it's going to provide you the ability to, win the business. And then you're going to increase size of deals. You're going to increase margins because you're adding into your services. And then, as I mentioned, it's going to be from a competitive standpoint, it's going to really differentiate yourselves from other sellers out there in the marketplace. And then, last but not least, up top in the left, increase customer sat. Think about this. The big difference here is when you sell CapEx, it's really a one-time engagement, right? You sell it, you deliver it, you take the PO, and you move on, and the customer moves on. Here, we're with them for that length of the agreement, that 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, whatever that is, we're hand in hand with them every day, working with them, connected with them throughout the length of the agreement. So I'm going to turn it back over to Connor for a quick second, but you'll see here that this is very easy to configure, very easy to price out, especially leveraging the Ingram team.
Thank you, Jeff. And one of the things I wanted to just have you confirm before we dive into this, what is the minimum MSRP that's needed to be able to quote a NaaS deal?
Sure. Yeah, it's actually dropped this year. So it's 65,000 PCV, total contract value. So the 65,000 would be whatever the 3 years or 5 year term would account to.
Wonderful. Thank you for confirming that. Yeah, so essentially diving into how do you transact these? How do you get your pricing? What does it look like from a HPE to Ingram to reseller? So one of the biggest things that I always like to talk about with NaaS is there's a lot of pricing advantages that you have to enter into these contracts. One of the big things is that you're going to get additional discounting on support licenses. So talking about your foundation care, that is usually not highly discounted. Whereas when you get these quotes, they come across as one SKU with everything included. So you get a higher discount on those lines specifically. Another great part of it is having the full pricing protection. So when you sign these agreements and an order is booked in the system, your price is what your price is. It is not going to change for the entirety of the contract. So in this example we have below, for your full 60 months, your monthly price is not going to change as you go through your contract. So for the next 5 years, you're going to know exactly what your payment is to handle your entire networking solution. So that just makes the simplicity of managing these payments so much easier. You have a fully fixed payment. Again, you know exactly what you're looking at every single month for the next 5 years. The other great part of using NaaS pricing is you don't have a large upfront sum. So if this were to be processed through CapEx model, you would just have your terms line or your credit card be charged for the full amount of the deal. Whereas with these NaaS quotes and the NaaS orders, when they get put through the system, you don't have that hefty upfront cost. So you're able to work through and continue to use your terms line or your credit card at the same exact spot moving forward, and you'll be charged for those monthly invoices. As far as the quoting itself, so Jeff kind of touched on it a little bit. There's a lot of resources that we have at HPE to help create the bill of materials that we have. Or if you're familiar with Iris, that's also another tool that can be used to add the products that you're looking for and then have somebody from HPE certify them and be able to create the quotes. The pricing then gets flipped over to Jeff and his team, and he sends them over to us here at Ingram. From there, we go ahead, take the information that was provided from HPE, flip it over to a quote that looks very similar to the below. So it's going to come over on just your normal Ingram quoting format. It's going to have all your deal ID information, all the normal stuff that comes in an Ingram quote, but the bottom of it is where I have this image, and that's where it's going to look a little bit different. So as Jeff mentioned, everything is done under one SKU specifically. So for this example that we have here, we have a 38 quantity, and it's going to show you exactly the terms, and then it's going to show you your price based on the price times the quantity, and then your total net price. So it's going to show you your total contract value, which is the total cost of the entire 60 months of the deal. And then it's going to show you exactly what your monthly cost is. So again, like I mentioned before, in this example right here, that $19,000 a month, that is going to be your price for the next 60 months. That is not going to go up. That's not going to go down. That is going to remain consistent. And
And
then on the
Connor,
right,
uh, sorry,
yep,
yeah, real quick, what I think is really cool is also that price per unit, right? So now that customer, that partner knows exactly for this switch that 1,037 per month is what they're being charged or what they're paying for that on a monthly basis. So again, especially like an AP, just to throw some numbers out there, say an AP 615 might be $13 a month. So the customer knows that they have a new project coming up, they need another 20 APs, they know exactly what that cost would be. So back to that visibility of budget and knowing exactly what their costs are, this is really very different than the old way, guessing. So.
yeah, absolutely. And Jeff, if you had to give a rough estimate as far as what the normal list off list price discount is, what would you say that percentage would be?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up earlier and how we discount this differently than the old way, which is where we were discounting hardware at one percentage, software at another, and foundation care at another. So our base, our standard right out of the gate is 68% off total contract value. So like you said, all of those in a bundle, right? So foundation care, hardware, software, we're discounting to the partner at 68 off. We can also go more aggressive. If it's a competitive deal, just like our partners are used to today, where if it's highly competitive, it's large, whatever, strategic, we can of course go with a deeper discount than that 68 off. But as that number probably tells you, normally, we're in those percentages maybe just on hardware. Now it's actually across the hardware, foundation care, and software.
Wonderful. And then, yeah, on this, so this is purely used as an example. So this is not an actual list off discount. It was just rounded to a nice, easy number to see. So yeah, so you'd be getting that additional discounting on all those products. And then this being a screen grab from the Ingram quote. Sorry, I got ahead of you, Jeff. The product attribute in the description on there, that's going to be everything that's directly included in that SKU. So that's going to have any DAC cables, foundation care, Aruba Central, everything that's included in that SKU per quantity is what's going to be in that description tab right there for you. So now
Yeah,
we can
great.
go on to the invoicing and how to order. So we just have a small checklist here um, just to be able to walk through and make sure that we have everything ready to be able to order. So just a valid HPE quote, end user credit approval from HPE, the reseller credit approval from Ingram Micro, the DocuSigned order form, and this will be provided by Ingram. And then the last thing is a PO is not required to Ingram, but it is encouraged. And as I say these items, the largest part of this is that all of these items will be created, tracked, and managed by us at Ingram Micro. So these are not things that you need to be responsible or aware of. This is something that myself and my team at Ingram Micro will be tracking these throughout the whole process. So these are not additional items that you need to make sure you're checking off. Again, fully handled by Ingram Micro. And the one thing I like to add to just for the ordering process as well too is these ship directly from a HPE warehouse that has priority shipping. So we will see these ship before these standard models as well too. So the ship time on these again is prioritized, and we typically see a quick turnaround. So I'm going to
Yeah,
give it back over to Jeff.
thanks, Connor. Yeah, so just to recap, these are just six of, again, some of the advantages, the value of a NaaS offering over, say, a quick CapEx type of transaction. Lots of flexibility at the end of the term. So very unlike a lease, you have lots of options at the end of the agreement that we can definitely talk to more on a follow-up conversation. Again, we're increasing the total contract value because we're adding those additional services. We're allowing you, the partner, to add, again, more value to the opportunity because of those services. Assets on the books. So title is not held by you, the partner, nor the customer. It is actually on HPFS's books, and they are truly looking at that as a OpEx type of transaction. We definitely are very much focused on sustainability. So if your customers, if that is a focus of theirs, this really well aligns with that. And then all the incentives, all the partner type of rebates and incentives are all stackable on this type of offering. So there is a rebate for NaaS, which is a 5% of total contract value that is provided to you, the partner. But then there's a lot of other incentives through the channel program that are stackable on top of that.
Right, wonderful. So yeah, so again, just to kind of go back over what we kind of discussed today, going over the NaaS solution is really the future of networking. As we kind of work through this and the world becomes more of a recurring revenue model world, it's a great time to be able to get familiar with the process and be able to get ahead of your competitors as well. So working through NaaS, again, it is a great solution that allows you to have a lot of additional freedom and flexibility to be able to leverage HPE and Ingram Micro to make sure that your partners are being taken care of. So again, it's all about your choice, and your choice should be with recurring revenue and with HPE GreenLake for networking. And again, this is just a wonderful product because it is fully custom designed to match what you and your partners are looking for. So that's really what we're looking for, is just to be given some opportunities, get some quotes sent over, be able to just say, hey, is this eligible for networking as a service? We're happy to have that broader conversation with you or with end users specifically as well. So we're really just looking to kind of get the partnership started and be able to spread the word of networking as a service, because it is a great product and it is the future of HPE Aruba networking.
Yeah,
So that
thanks, Connor. Yeah, this was awesome. And as you mentioned, I am here, you are here to take any questions that your partners may have. We have tremendous amount of resources to help them be successful with that. So thank you again for this opportunity today.
absolutely. And thank you everybody for listening in. Again, my name is Connor Pierce here with the Ingram Micro Aruba networking team. So please feel free to reach out. If you have any questions or opportunities, Jeff and myself are happy to get on any calls, talk with you, be able to walk through any of these deals. So we really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video today, and hope to partner with you on some networking as a service deals moving forward. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Connor.